case Easy Rider is checking in for transport duty. Copy, Easy Rider.
Welcome back everyone, Coder from Amoeba Games here with another agHTM tutorial. Today's topic is using agHTM in a new or existing mission. If you are not familiar with it, agHTM is the Amoeba Games Helicopter Transport Mission Library for DCS. This library lets you build rich, immersive, custom helicopter transport missions, complete with navigation beacons, audio voiceovers, and much more with very little effort. Even if you have never built a mission or written a single line of code, agHTM will have you building fully functional transport missions in no time. The library does all of the heavy lifting for you, from adding radio menu commands for signaling your approach and departure with voiceovers, to tracking all of your pickups and landing at the final destination. For more information on agHTM, including extensive documentation of every aspect of agHTM, please visit the Amoeba Games website at www.amoeba-games.com and click on Flight Sim Tools. Once you're here, you can click on the For More Information on our agHTM Helicopter Transport Missions for DCS script library section, which will take you to the landing page for agHTM. While you're here, be sure to check out FST, our Flight Sim Tools suite, made for flight simmers by flight simmers. Also make sure to check out the free mission bundles we created using agHTM. Each bundle contains 11 missions currently, with more being added regularly. The bundles are available for the Mi-8 HIP, the Mi-24 Hind, the UH-1 Huey, and the UH-60 Blackhawk community mod. When building an agHTM mission, you can choose to either build it from one of the pre-made mission templates, or you can build it from scratch. You can even overlay agHTM on top of an existing mission if you have a FARP or FOB you want to use, for example. This video series will cover manually adding agHTM to your new or existing mission. If you would like to see how to build missions from one of the pre-made mission templates, check out our other video series on using agHTM mission templates. You can find it on our YouTube channel or under the Using AGHTM Mission Templates section of the agHTM section of the site. In order to add agHTM to your mission, you will need to first download the script library. You can do that using the yellow agHTM script library for DCS button at the top of any of the pages. If you want to get to the mission bundles, you can click the blue button. To get to the pre-made mission templates, you can click the green button. Right now, we're just going to click the yellow button and download the library. Go to our downloads folder, and we can do right click, choose extract all. And when we open this folder, we can see all of the contents from agHTM. If you want to see what those contents are, you can go from the landing page down into the agHTM library contents, where we list all of the assets that are included with the bundle, including what their function is within the mission. To begin, let's open DCS using the Amoeba Games DCS launcher. We'll launch DCS in our one monitor viewport for editing missions. Whether you're creating your mission from scratch or overlaying agHTM on top of an existing mission, the process is basically the same. As you can see here, I have a medical transport mission. This is a CSAR style mission where you can request tasking and be deployed to any one of these 10 random points, at which point you pick up a passenger and bring them back to this hospital area. Now, I really like the FOB area that I've set up for this particular map. So I decided I wanted to use this as the basis for an agHTM mission. In addition, the waypoints that I have set up here around the outside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, are going to essentially be my waypoints for my agHTM mission. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit and get it ready to be used as an agHTM mission. As you can see here, I've removed many of the waypoints. I've removed the hospital, and I've left just the transport helicopter and the 5 waypoints that we want to use as our Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo locations. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this mission ready to be used with agHTM. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take my mission it's this one right here. When we create our missions, we like to store them in a folder with the matching name of the mission, so that way we can store any related assets in the same folder. For more information on how we set up our projects and our methodology, check out that section on structuring your code and using mission.lua elsewhere in this documentation. So the first thing I want to do is I want to copy this folder to my agHTM area, just as a matter of housekeeping. I keep all of my agHTM missions in one folder based on the map. This is a Syria mission, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my copy here. Now, I like to be consistent, so I'm going to go ahead and rename this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rename my mission file with the same name. Since I know I need scripts and I have some assets and things like that that are going to belong to this project, I want to go ahead and set up my project like I typically do. Again, you'll see this in the structuring your code section. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new folder called assets. Inside of assets, I'm going to create another new folder called scripts. And I'm going to switch over to the download. And a couple things that I want to pull over here to use in my mission. The first thing I want to do is I want to pull the dependent scripts that are needed to run this mission. So agHTM is built on top of agScript, which is another library for DCS that Amoeba Games is working on and is getting ready to release. But several of the scripts that are part of agScript are included here, as well as a copy of the MIST script. So I'm just going to copy these scripts over to our assets scripts folder. If you're building multiple missions, you can just store the library, somewhere that you can get to readily, and you can just reference these files. For the sake of this example, though, I want to isolate everything and keep it self-contained so that if we need to move things around, we have everything that we need. The next thing that I'm going to need is I'm going to need the agHTM functionality. That's provided by the agHTM script, the agHTMConfig.lua file, and our mission file, which is the code that runs when our mission runs. Again, that's all covered in the structuring your code and using mission.lua section. So now that we've got all of our scripts here, we're going to go ahead and make a couple changes that we need to make just to prepare our scripts for our mission that we're building. We're going to open mission.lua in Notepad++ because this has a couple changes we need to make from the template. So if you recall, that was the name of our mission. And I'm just replacing some placeholders that I have in here. The purpose of these properties is covered in detail in the documentation. I'm not going to go into that now. So I'm just getting our mission.lua file ready to be used. This is just going to tell the core scripts some information about our mission script. There's a couple helper functions. You can see that most importantly we have the call to initialize agHTM here. Go ahead and save those changes. So now that we have our project set up, let's go back to our mission editor and we'll do some housekeeping here in the mission editor. Before we get started with that, though, first I want to show you the download comes with a file here called setup checklist. This is not meant to be a set of instructions. This is meant to be merely a checklist that you can go through and review when you're done to make sure that you've completed everything. We're going to walk through this, but we're going to jump around a little bit. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to do some cleanup here to our mission file. We're going to go to our date, time, and weather first of all, and I'm just going to randomly pick a date. Randomly pick a time. We can go ahead and we can choose a weather preset. Could add some wind if we want. Maybe take the wind away, make it a little windier. Now that we've got the weather, date, and time set up, one other piece of cleanup that we need to do is we need to go into the Set Mission Options panel, and we need to go ahead and enable EasyComms. We're not going to force EasyComms to work for the person filing the mission, but we are going to enable EasyComms. We found that sometimes, depending on how people have their DCS environment set up, sometimes the comms on the radio menu don't work. So whatever keybind you have to bring up the standard communication radio menu is what you're going to use to access the commands for agHTM. If you were creating your mission from scratch, you would need to add a helicopter. However, this mission already has several helicopter slots that we could use. The helicopter group, however, has to have a specific name for the scripts to work. That name is EasyRider1, and the unit name is EasyRider11. So we're going to take one of these cold start helicopter slots, and we're just going to rename it so that we can use this slot for our player slot. The type will be a type client, and I'm going to go ahead and rename this. Our type is Blackhawk. That's how we typically start our missions. We build them for the Blackhawk first, and then we modify them for other aircraft. There's another section in this documentation that has a video on that as well. So first, we want to make sure that our fuel is about relative to the length of our flight. So we can look at this helicopter and we can see that it's approximately 84 nautical miles. So we can get away with about 60% fuel probably. Check your loadout. We're picking up approximately 5 passengers, so we'll use the clean 6-seat setup. Pick a livery if you want. And then we can go ahead and save our mission. Next up, we'll be taking a look at creating our trigger zones and our landing areas, and discuss how we add all of the assets included with the library to our mission file. We'll also start adding the triggers that are necessary for running the actual mission. If you like these videos, don't forget to click the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Until next time, Coder out.